Hello and welcome to the show. For today's video, we were doing some racing, some multiplayer races on Forza Motorsport. For this session, we were using A-class cars. However, they were not allowed to have race tyres, and we're going to have a little bit of fun with it. The Euros, the football tournament, is on at the moment, so we were going to be using cars only from the countries that are in that, and then at the end come up with our own sort of, I say, little silly predictions. Points were going to be awarded based on the finishing positions and then divided by the amount of cars, because, well, some countries had much bigger selection of cars going into this, and see what came out of all of that. I was going to be driving my Lotus. This is a Type 35. It's actually a PI drop car from S down into A class, but it was pretty damn good when we did that last time, and I was curious to see how it would compete against more normal A-class cars. For our first race, we're a very long way back, and it is very wet here at Brands Hatch. I'm not sure a Lotus Type 35 is what I want. The Esprit had more difficulties than me getting off the line. Yeah, this is a soggy track in a difficult-to-drive car, but, I mean, hopefully we're going to be able to make something good happen. Hey, there is someone off at turn 1, which is always going to happen around here. Can I go and sneak something around the outside of some cars? I mean, the danger for me here, of course, is vehicles moving around in the wet, and I'm going to come off worse. Any contact, 100%, I am coming off worse. Oh, Horde's put a rear wheel on the grass. That thing, it's just not going to get it turned at that point. Glisko with a very wide Mercedes, quite literally in this case. I've got nowhere to go here. I mean, we're all just checking up. I was wise about how to approach that corner. I was going to be slow through the corner because everyone was checking up, so we just stopped and we waited for a gap to appear, and then I used the absolutely ridiculous acceleration of a teeny tiny Lotus to fire our car past. We're going to slide a little bit in front of some stuff, and it'll move us up into 14th place. Brilliant start for the Type 35. Oh, there's a Donkavort running wide. There's a Renault doing some off-road adventuring. We're going to try and sneak our way up the inside. I mean, a lot of what we're doing here is just make sure we keep control of the Larry Lotus, although the TVRs have found themselves together, but we have got acceleration, and the TVR's still a little bit wide, and that puts us up. That is an astonishing first lap for us here with the Lotus. Can we keep it together? Can we keep making progress? I mean, we're going to go that much progress forward continually, of course. We were helped by one corner in particular that really kind of went in our favour. Be neat, be tidy. Coming down the hill at turn number 1. Shadow is not going to defend into the first corner. I thought about having a big look. Not going to be able to do it, although Shadow then got sort of stacked up behind a Lamborghini. The all-wheel drive Lambo is going to be able to get off the corner as well, and that has actually helped me. The Lamborghini is terrible mid-corner, but it does have... Oh, there's a chevron in the wrong direction. That's a horrible place to have spun. I'm going to guess probably... Oh, put a wheel on the grass, a bit like I'm about to do here. Went too brave. Oh, the brilliant start, all a little bit undone by me just getting carried away. Never mind. We can recover. We can recuperate. That was silly. Got a little carried away behind the Gallardo there, trying to be hopeful. Oh, the Amara's gone deep. At least we didn't end up deep in the gravel trap. Like, we ran wide, but we were on a tarmac runoff area. We could get away with it. Well, we're on the Indy circuit, essentially, and Stevie's actually holding up the TVRs now. Oh, big crash for a KTM. KTM slid wide, I'm going to guess, put a wheel. It was either trying to get a pass done, did not see what happened. Shadow's about to go and lose 2 places here. If we can get on the power nicely, which we do, we are on the wrong side for this. I'm going to do exactly the same to Gib Gob again. Can we... Oh, I got the acceleration. See, Stevie's got the traction to annoy the TVRs, but I'm so light that I have actually got the acceleration to match. We're going to slide a little bit through there. The Gallardo will have grip. We're somehow up into 5th place now. It's crazy stuff. Rusky leads the way, but we've got a big gap now. I mean, whether we're quicker than the cars ahead, I'm not completely sure, but it's a big gap to try and make up. Hopefully, yes. I was a little bit cautious into turn 1. After my adventure last lap around, I now be a little bit cautious. Now we've got nobody to sort of gauge things off of. Now, easy does it through this section. I say feed in the power as we almost spin the wheels up. Let's definitely get the braking right for these corners. We know my car's got a very, very good acceleration, so maybe we're best off just making sure we get it stopped, making sure we get it turned. We will now run away from that TVR. Yeah, we can just build a nice margin to that to the Griffith down here. Don't do anything silly. I do like Brands Hatch. It is one of my better circuits in the game. I think this car, even though it is sketchy, is the way I would describe it. It is a very fast. It's so small. It's so light. It's always going to be a quick option. Whether we've got enough pace for a podium, I really don't know. Not if we do that. I'm pushing desperately to try and catch up to Scotty. I mean, we know we've got to drive the absolute wheels off this if I'm going to stand any chance of getting it near a podium, which I don't think we're going to do. But 4th place is there if I don't bin it, I think. You know, there's a chance. I think we're going to catch, if I don't have a big wreck, which I am teetering on the edge of pretty much the whole time, there's a chance. There's a little chance that we can get Scotty. I don't know who is 2nd and 3rd. My guess would be in Pega and Brazen, but I'm not completely sure. Brazen is in a Chevron, I think, and Impega is in a 959, which would, the 959 would definitely work around this track, or could work. All-wheel drive could be helpful in these conditions. Scotty ran a little bit wide through there, which we're going to make up a bit of time on. It's down to 2.2 seconds between us and the Alpine. There is a parked Chevron. That's the Chevron that spun on lap 1, parked off to the side. We're going to light up the rear a little bit. We've definitely got pace. I mean, starting from the back of the grid is always super difficult, full stop. You've got so many cars to try and overtake. Realistically speaking, we had about as good a first lap as we could. Well, we can see some of the cars up ahead. We're not a million miles away from some of those. Oh, Scotty slid. I mean, you can see, Scotty is probably feeling the pressure. They can see the gap. They can see the distance coming down. In this, I am on the absolute limit with a very slidey load. I mean, we're bringing Shadow with us. Shadow's not really being dropped all that much. It's a few tenths a lap at most here. And I think we're gaining on Scotty. We are gaining on Scotty more this lap because Scotty had a little slide. We're going to light up the rear tyres around the final corner. Brazen has got to the lead of the race here. Hopefully, I mean, it'd be nice if they fought each other a lot. They could fight each other a hell of a lot, and I still wouldn't have the time to catch them. See, what's working in Scotty's favour is that car is probably a little easier to drive than mine. It's probably a little bit less on edge than my Lotus as we head into the second corner. The gap's 1.5 seconds now. Where will we pass the Alpine? My best bet would be the exit of the next corner and get the run down the straight. If we've got the straight line speed on that, got the acceleration on that, that would be probably the easiest place to overtake it. Although I think that car is quite fast. I think I remember I think Scotty's driving one that I've raced against before, and that thing is pretty rapid down the straights. So we may not be that much faster than it. We may have to do this the difficult way. Gap is within a second. If we were in Formula 1, we'd have DRS. But, well, we're not, and it's raining, so we wouldn't anyway. But the gap is there. It has come tumbling down. Now just don't do any silly errors. You see slides from me. You saw a slide from the Alpine. Its wheels are on the grass through there. Almost. That was so close to a massive disaster. Scotty is again sliding that car all over the place, trying to make lap speed. And I mean, we're desperately trying to make lap speed as well here. Maybe we are more composed in the corners. I don't know. It's very close. It's very close. We have dropped Shadow just a little bit this lap around. We have started pulling away from the TVR, run a little deep into the final corner. We'll get away with it. God, this is going to go down to the final lap, isn't it? It is going to go down to the final lap. Can we find a way past that Alpine somewhere? I mean, I'm not getting turn 1 very well. I'm being a little nervous under brakes. I'm just not quite sure where to brake. And I don't want to have a very silly accident down there. We are close. I mean, we've got really good, like, mid-corner speed. If we get it right, we can really carry some speed through some of these. Our car was wiggling about through there. We are on the tail. I mean, we're using a lot of curb. We are asking for trouble here in absolutely horrific conditions. Here, you see, it's this mid-corner speed here. That's what we've really got over the Alpine. Neither of us have any traction on the exit of the corners. Both of our cars are moving about like crazy. Oh, where are we going to get this pass done? We've got a great run down here, but you're not passing from this far back. It's just not going to happen. We're going to run it in very quickly through here. We're looking and looking and looking, but there's not going to be room here. There's not going to be a space for an overtake at this part of the circuit. Now, we are good at this corner. This is where Scotty has struggled considerably. It's not really leading to an overtaking opportunity, though. You can fire it up the inside down here, but it's unlikely. It's unlikely in the dry, even less likely in the rain. We're very fast mid-corner. Scotty is on the edge of the circuit there. Not much more room. I mean, I'm playing a little bit careful. Scotty's actually having to start defending now. They know they're in danger. 1 lap to go. Can we find a way past? Will we be able to find a way past that A110? There's a little bump. So I want to try and get underneath it there, but I can't do it. It's blocking. I say it's blocking. It's taking the line it wants to take, which is perfectly allowed to do, which just happens to be the line that I want to take as well. We're to the outside at turn 1. Now, my hope is force the Alpine to take a shallow line through here, but it's just in the way. Scotty's going to defend up here, to be expected. My hope is that I've got so much grip mid-corner that I can just sweep around the outside. And then we'll be on the inside for turn number 3. Neither of us have got any grip as we slide the cars on the exit. Both very, very similar in terms of acceleration. We're going to drift wide on the exit of turn 3, which is fine. Hopefully we can use some power here to make it work. But the Alpine is going to fight back into the next corner. We're still going to have the mid-corner speed. We get the pass completed, kind of. Now it's a drag race down the back straight. Who is faster? I mean, this is the real question here. It looks like the Lotus is by a tiny, tiny margin. It's really not much. We can launch the car through here with some good pace. Now, this is the corner where we have been pretty quick. Scotty's going to have a look, but I don't think that car's got the grip to make that line work particularly well. We've got it for now. The trick is just don't bin it here. That was on the absolute edge of the circuit. I've lost all game sound all of a sudden. I don't quite know how and or why, but that's not going to matter too much necessarily. It shouldn't do. Try to keep an eye on the speedo now on the rev counter as we head towards the final corner. What an absolutely manic race. I apologise for the game sound issues. We will slide the car out of the final turn, and it will be a 4th. Oh, it feels like a win. At that point, it feels like a win. 39.5 fastest lap. We were very similar to the Donkavor and the 959. We could not match Brazen's Chevron. That was far, far too fast. Admittedly, I reckon a 38 was possible. I was terrible through turn 1 pretty much every single time. 20 places gained. What a brilliant run that one was. Admittedly, a lot gained at the start of that race. That's fantastic fun. Bit terrifying, but we chased down and caught the Alpine. Honestly, 4th is the best I would realistically be able to get. Bloody hell. Ugh. And now, a rest, I think. Actually, not, because I've got to race again. Well, this is a nice spot on the grid for our second race. We are at Watkins Glen. Oh, I spots another old classic Grand Prix car. I don't actually know what one that is. I don't think that's the same as mine. That might be, actually. Not sure. We're going to be a little bit careful down in towards the first corner here. Can we get the acceleration on the big BMW? Not going to even try. We might have the acceleration on it. Not going to try that, though. Not going up the hill. Danielson got it a little bit wide and in trouble through there. Shadow leads the way with the classic something or other. Can't figure out if it's the same as mine or whether it's one of the other ones. But either way, guys, so I don't match that BMW for top end. But actually, what has happened is quite good for us in that we've got a bit spread out. Oh, going towards the bus stop. I wanted to be a lot quicker through there. I can be a lot quicker through there, certainly than the big M8. Oh, I want it again. We're really looking to duck past Scotty there. Back end stepping out. Really sliding about in the Lotus. We lean on Liam. I mean, the advantage for Liam in this is Liam's car is very heavy. I'm not going to move it if I lean on it a little bit. It's not going to really move at all. We will get moved if we get lent on. Rusky has turned up with the Donkavort, but the Donkavort is going to be stuck on the extreme outside through here and get a little bit boxed in. I'm hoping we can sneak past stuff on the exit, and here we go. Liam is going to be completely boxed in and have nowhere to go with the straight line speed of the M8. That's terrifying, seeing that behind us. I'm wasn't intending on going for a dive on Scotty, but I guess it works. So, you know, if it works and all that. Can we go around the outside of the Alpine here? Yes, we will clear that through the next corner, and then we are into third. We have just Shadow and Impega in front of us. Can I do anything? I'm not very good at Watkins Glen. This is not a track that I like. Well, I like the short layout. I'm not very good at the full layout at all, and I haven't really driven it all that much in Forza. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Rusky's got a good run out of that corner, but we know Rusky's Donkavort runs out at straight line speed. Although of course it's got good handling, so you can tend to get out of the corners quite well. It made a mess of turn one though, and is out well wide. Was trying to outbrake the Alpine and got it wrong. We will go barreling up the hill. Now it looks like Shadow is coming under threat. Oh, I think Shadow kissed the wall, and we did as well. Shadow's coming under threat from that Mercedes. The Mercs just got more straight line speed. I would like to be able to try and catch them and get some slipstream and potentially join in the fun battles going on up at the front. The Merc may be a little better here, possibly. So far anyway, Mercedes has got to the lead of the race. We've caught Shadow a little bit through there. We've just pulled a small bit of a gap on Scotty. This is the part of the lap that I don't know very well. This kind of like, well, the short circuit, as I said, I do like, driven quite a lot. This part of the circuit, I don't know very well. I'm not very good at it. So, yeah, and because I'm not very good at it, it doesn't really encourage me to, I don't really like driving it particularly, so it kind of just snowballs. I'm hoping that Shadow might be able to slow each other down battling. I think we're about on pace with them, but of course trying to make up a second or two isn't so easy. Not very wide through there. It's not going to help particularly, but yeah, if Shadow stays there and keeps Impega having to defend, keeps Impega having to think about, you know, different lines and doesn't let that Merc get a rhythm, that could help me out quite a lot. It doesn't look like we're under any sort of threat from Scotty. I don't think their Alpine's just not quite quick enough here to deal with the little Lotus. We're going to slither towards the wall through there, but that's fine. It is, well, 1.6, 1.5 seconds to the cars ahead. No, it's not much. The Merc is quicker than both me and Shadow down the straights, but in the twisty stuff, me and Shadow are faster than that Mercedes. Shadow's got the big advantage currently of being able to sit in the draft of the Mercedes, which will help a lot down the straights here. That's why I really want to get close enough that I can join in that little slipstream train. Although these move about, you can see Shadows is doing a similar thing. They just move so much on their way up the hill. They just do not have the grip. Into the bus stop we go. We will be as aggressive as we can be through there. My car's not terrible on the curbs, which is nice. It means you can really attack that section. It does want to slide through that sort of carousel corner. You are just driving it a little bit sideways everywhere, which my brain really struggles with because it's not how I want my cars to handle, but it's how you get lap speed out of this one. I mean, one slip up and Scotty will be right on us. Oh, Impega's running very, very deep through there. I think Shadow is in the same one as me. The Type 35s. It's two Type 35s versus a Gullwing Mercedes at the front here. An unusual battle, an unusual little group of cars here. No, it is not a Type 35. It is a different car. It's got a different exhaust setup. But it is along similar lines to mine. Now, the trick is me and Shadow have got to not fight each other into oblivion and let Impega get away. So Shadow got to tried to get to the inside, couldn't quite make it stick. We are going to move around a little bit, but not too much through there. Yeah, so Impega cannot carry the same mid-corner speed that me and Shadow can, but has the power to run away from us. Shadow is quicker than me in a straight line. Interesting. So I'm guessing I'm the best handling of this little trio. This is going to be an interesting final couple of laps now, I think. If we're all together, because any sort of gap that appears, Shadow's going to have to go for, because I'm here now looking for them. I'm actually more than happy to sort of sit back and let them do their thing. I mean, Pega's seeing a little bit of understeer going up over the crest, but it's not too bad. Shadow does not want to hit the grass there. That's not great. We are now in the draft. We've all got well off the top of the hill there. Impega a little bit more under threat at the head of the train here. I slightly missed my braking into the chicane, but that's fine. We will pop out the other side in one piece. And yeah, we're just better through here. This is where we can gain a little bit. Scotty cannot match the pace of the lead 3 cars. Scotty has fallen away a little bit behind us, but is in a solid 4th place. Trying to leave it in 3rd to see if we could get it off the corner with a bit less wheel spin. It kind of worked. 3rd worked off that corner, didn't have to go down to 2nd. Probably should have done though. Pega's struggling to get turned in here. This is the corner where the Mercedes is really struggling. I'm struggling because I'm just not very good at the track. We're a little bit too far back to really be involved. Is Shadow going to have a go to the inside? Down here. Tried last lap, didn't quite work out. Holds it a bit neater. You can see we can close a lot mid-corner, especially when they're going side by side. But then how are we going to find a way past? We can't out-accelerate stuff like we have been so far today. We're going to find a different way to get past them. We're just so much better in the corners. We're going to have to find a way. Oh, I say we're so much better in the corners. We are, but not when we do that. Oh, we are all crossed up. Can we gather it together? We do. That's going to cost us a few tenths, though. Ugh. That was sketchy. Don't want to do that one again. I was too tight on the way in, and it kind of threw me out of position for the rest of that sort of sequence of corners. We're starting to drive a little bit ragged here, which is not helping my case. We need to go back. We need to chill. We need to go back to the much smoother driving that we had been doing. Neither of the 2 ahead got up through the ESs there very well. They both looked like they were sliding about. I mean, we're all in very old cars on a slightly greasy Watkins Glen. This is the overcast, wet weather. So there's a little bit of dampness about. I mean, it's not really wet, but there's a little dampness about. The cars move. I mean, the cars are very old. The cars are sliding about. Impega's left a little bit of a gap there that Shadow wants to use, but can't quite. We're going to wash out a little bit wide, but that's fine. Impega's got the lead, but is just having to defend everywhere, which is not really allowing the Mercedes to utilise its speed. I mean, Scotty's dropping a little bit a lap, but is still, clinging on to that 4th place. This is a brilliant little battle going on up in front of us. I think Shadow might have a little more traction than I do. It wants to move about a little bit, but we want to move about a lot. My Lotus really does love having a wander about. Impega defends this time around up. Oh, I don't even know what corner number we're at. I don't know anything about that set, but Impega's defending this time around because Shadow has almost got past a couple of times. Yeah, this is where Impega does not want to run wide, because any of these open-wheeled cars, if given half an opportunity, are going to have the grip to shove the nose up the inside and look for a way past. This time around, we are not all crossed up. We are not out of sorts through there. We slide through the final corner, me and Shadow almost perfectly in sync through that section. Shadow to the inside at turn 1. Will we be able to get an absolutely mega run up the hill because we're not battling cars? That's kind of what I'm hoping. It's a good pass from Shadow, and it's a good repass from Impega. Shadow just could not quite sort of hold the position through there. We've got a wonderful watching brief of this one as we rise over the hill. Impega's wide, Impega brushes the wall. I'm pretty sure Shadow hit it as well. This is where we could come in with a huge slingshot down the back straight. I don't think Shadow realised we were trying to go to the outside, but there's not going to be room for a pass there. They both hit the wall, pushing really hard, but unfortunately there was just no space. There was nowhere that I could have gone, particularly, that would have made that one work. Oh, and I got a big slide mid-corner at the carousel. I had to bail on turn in. I think Impega's got this one, unless there is any mistake. Shadow might launch it through, not this next corner, it's the corner after. That's where Impega struggled most. Shadow might launch it to the inside there. This is where we've been quite good. Even though I'm not very good at this circuit, my car is quite good through here. Shadow might try it to the inside because Impega cannot get off the corner there well enough. Impega's going to have to defend very heavily. into this next turn, because Shadow has looked and has got passes done into this corner already. Shadow's going to look for a cutback on the exit, and we'll try, but then you're on the wrong side for the next corner, and Pega is still being held very, very tight. And of course now Pega's having to defend. Pega's going slowly. Oh, and Pega's out sideways off towards the wall and touches the grass. I mean, we're here, but we are the slowest accelerating of all of them, so we need a major problem, and I didn't quite get the penultimate corner correctly anyway. Yeah, it wasn't a great final lap for me. Then Pega's going to get pushed around the final corner. Shadow's going to try, but it won't matter. The Mercedes is going to take victory just. We will cross the line in third. What a race. What a race. Oh, it was a Lotus Type 49, there we go. And a Lotus Type 40 got fourth. Type 40, not as good. Just beat Scotty at the end. That's unfortunate. Scotty did really well hanging on for so long. I mean, the crazy lightweight cars. The Lotis were strong there. Jesus, they were strong. Chris got up to 6th with that M2. But yeah, no match for the super lights. I mean, we were... Pega's Gullwing did very well to fight that as much as it did. But, yeah, I had speed. I just could not quite... a couple of little errors, and I couldn't quite find a way past. It's always going to be difficult because the other two were just that bit quicker than me down a straight. Yeah, there's a little chance going through the S's, but I couldn't get my car in the right place. That was a good race. That was hard work. Christ, well done, Pega. Fending off the attack of the open wheelers. So, on to the final results from this. After all the exciting racing, it would be the French that would take the victory by a very, very small margin. England is in second, ahead of the Netherlands, and Germany in third. You see, the French they scored very, very strongly in both races, and there weren't very many French cars in it. The point system was done by, he took all the points, added them all up, and then divided it by the amount of cars from that country. I mean, in the second race here, there was only one French car, which got 5th, which scored 10 points, which was quite a lot. Because while the English cars, there were a lot of very, very fast English cars in this one. I think one of the big advantages is we had a lot of the classic English cars, things like my Lotus, things like the Chevron, with various different Lotuses and all of that. There were some very, very fast English cars, but there were a bunch of them that didn't particularly work. So that kind of dragged the points down a little bit. The Dutch, for example, had 2 Donkervoorts. And they only had 2 Donkervoorts, but they were quick, so their points weren't divided by a huge amount. And a similar kind of problem with the German cars is that there are a lot of English and a lot of German cars running in this. And the German cars there were some fast ones in this, but there were also some duff ones, some ones that just didn't quite work. So it kind of dragged their points down. Now, I know it's not perfect science. Whatever way you do this is not a perfect science, but it was quite good fun. It was quite interesting, and it's probably it wouldn't surprise me if this was quite accurate with the French being the victors in all of this. Either way, had a lot of fun racing, had a good excuse to drive my wonderful little Lotus thing again. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this little bit of fun with the points at the end. That, though, is going to be it for this video. If you would like to sign up to take part in the next one, then you can via our Discord. There'll be a link in the description. Find the Versus the Community sign-up section, and you can register to take part in there. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.